The tragic end of a rock legend, Kurt Cobain's departure. In the annals of rock history, on the 8th of April 1994, marked a somber and heart-wrenching day. Kurt Cobain, the extraordinary frontman and guitarist of the legendary American rock band Nirvana, was discovered lifeless in his Seattle home. The profound impact of his passing rippled through generations of fans and fellow artists alike. Forensic investigators unveiled a tragic timeline, revealing that Cobain's untimely demise had occurred 3 days prior, on the 5th of April. The scene painted a haunting picture. A shotgun lay across his body, and a devastating gunshot wound was evident on his head. Nearby, a suicide note cast a sorrowful shadow on the mysterious circumstances surrounding his departure. The Seattle Police Department confirmed the tragedy as suicide, leaving the world in mourning for a creative soul extinguished far too soon. Yet, as the news spread like wildfire, so too did speculations and conspiracy theories that Cobain's death might not have been as straightforward as it seemed. Reports of potential foul play reached the Federal Bureau of Investigation, fueled in part by an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, dedicated to unraveling the enigma of Cobain's final days. To comprehend the profound impact of this tragedy, one must understand the complex and tormented life of Kurt Cobain. As the charismatic voice and driving force behind Nirvana, Cobain revolutionized the music industry in the 1990s. His band's influence soared, making them one of the best-selling and most influential acts of all time. However, beneath the spotlight and fame, Cobain carried a heavy burden of physical and emotional pain. Chronic bronchitis and an undiagnosed stomach condition plagued him throughout his life, subjecting him to constant suffering. To cope with the darkness that engulfed him, Cobain turned to substances and battled with alcoholism and depression, casting shadows on his path to success. Tragically, Cobain's family history also bore a dark legacy, with 2 uncles having succumbed to suicide by firearms. This haunting connection to self-destruction seemingly loomed over him, adding further layers of complexity to his struggles. In the months leading up to his passing, Cobain faced significant challenges, both personal and professional. A harrowing episode of painkiller overdose in Rome prompted speculation, with his management labelling it accidental due to influenza and fatigue. However, Cobain's wife, Courtney Love, revealed a deeper truth, describing it as a deliberate suicide attempt. The pain within him was so intense that he sought solace in heroin, viewing it as a means to escape the haunting thoughts of ending his own life. As Nirvana embarked on their European tour in 1991, Cobain's stomach pain reached an excruciating peak, pushing him to the brink of despair. He confided that heroin was the only respite from his suicidal thoughts, illustrating the severity of his emotional turmoil. In the days leading up to the fateful event, Cobain exhibited signs of profound emotional withdrawal, becoming estranged from his relationships and disconnected from the world around him. Even the sincere efforts of his bandmate, Chris, to share a meal inadvertently led Cobain to seek refuge in heroin, a tragic reflection of his internal battles. Kurt Cobain's life and death remain a poignant reminder of the struggles faced by many creative souls. His artistry and influence continue to resonate, immortalizing him in the hearts of devoted fans worldwide. But his departure also serves as a stark reminder of the importance of mental health awareness, compassion, and understanding within our society. The mystery surrounding his final moments may never fully be unravelled, but his legacy as a musical genius and enigmatic spirit endures, inspiring countless artists to embrace their individuality and find solace in the power of music. His final days. In a series of puzzling events that shook the world, the days leading up to Kurt Cobain's death were riddled with intriguing twists and turns. On the 31st of March 1994, the troubled rock legend left the rehab centre that he had briefly checked into, making a daring escape by scaling a 6-foot wall. What was going on in his mind during these critical moments remains a mystery. Just 2 days later, on the 2nd of April, Cobain was spotted purchasing shotgun shells from a Seattle gun shop, explaining to the taxi driver that he needed them due to a recent burglary. The fragments of his actions and statements seemed to hint at a tumultuous state of mind. Then, on the 8th of April, a grim discovery was made at Cobain's Lake Washington Boulevard East residence. A Vika Electric employee, Gary T. Smith, arrived to install security lighting and stumbled upon a tragic scene in the greenhouse above the garage. At first he thought Cobain was simply asleep, but blood coming out of Cobain's ear told a different tale. In the midst of this sorrow scene lay a haunting suicide note with a pen stuck through it, left within a flower pot. Cobain's choice of parting words included the poignant phrase, "It's better to burn out than to fade away," a quote borrowed from Neil Young's My Hey Hey Out of the Blue. It added a layer to his final moments, leaving many to contemplate the meaning behind these haunting words. Beside Cobain's lifeless body rested a Remington Model 11 20-gauge shotgun, purchased for him by his musician friend Dylan Carlson. This firearm had been legally obtained at a gun shop in Seattle. A perplexing detail arose regarding Cobain's wish for the gun not to be in his name, fearing it might be seized by the police for his own protection. It seemed he had already experienced 2 instances of this gun being taken away in the previous 10 months. Further intrigue surfaced when puncture wounds were discovered in both right and left elbows of the deceased, raising questions about the events that might have unfolded before his tragic end. The aftermath brought a mix of revelations and speculations. The Seattle Post-Intelligencer reported that Cobain was allegedly high on heroin when he pulled the trigger, indicating the presence of morphine and Valium in his bloodstream. However, the intricacies of the drug's effect on Cobain remained a subject of debate, with experts weighing in on the significance of concentrations found. Years later, in 2014, the Seattle Police Department uncovered 4 rolls of film left dormant in an evidence vault. These photographs provided a clearer depiction of the scenes surrounding Cobain's lifeless body than the earlier Polaroid images taken by the police. While the official cause of death was still ruled as suicide, the images sparked renewed interest and requests to reopen the investigation, keeping the case alive in the public consciousness. The events leading up to Kurt Cobain's death continued to captivate hearts and minds, leaving us with unanswered questions and eternal reflections on the price of fame, the demons that haunt the human soul, and enduring legacy of a musical genius gone too soon. In the wake of Kurt Cobain's tragic passing, the world gathered to pay their respects to the iconic musician who had left an undeniable mark on the music industry. On the 10th of April 1994, a public memorial service took place at Seattle Center, a poignant gathering where fans came together to remember the artist. During the service, a recording of Courtney Love reading Cobain's haunting suicide note echoed throughout the air, adding a somber and emotional tone to the proceedings. In a poignant gesture of connection with Cobain's admirers, Love appeared near the end of the vigil, offering some of his personal clothing to fans who remained. In the days that followed, she found solace in sharing her grief with those who came to mourn at her home, a testament to the profound impact that Cobain had on those who loved him. As a final farewell, Cobain's body was cremated, an intimate and symbolic process that would allow his memory to live on in unique ways. Love chose to divide his ashes, keeping some in a cherished teddy bear and placing the rest in an urn. Another portion of his remains was taken to the Buddhist monastery in New York, where Buddhist monks performed a sacred blessing and mixed his ashes into clay. This special clay was then used to create memorial sculptures, a profound tribute to the artistic soul who had left the world too soon. A few years later, on the 31st of May 1999, a final ceremony was arranged by Cobain's mother, attended by Love and Tracy Miranda. The poignant event featured a Buddhist monk chanting sacred verses, as Cobain's beloved daughter, Frances Bean Cobain, scattered his ashes into McLean Creek in Olympia, Washington. This was the city where Cobain had found inspiration and his true artistic muse, making it a fitting resting place for his ashes. In the aftermath of Cobain's passing, friends and fellow musicians were left grappling with shock and sorrow. Mark Lanegan, a close friend, expressed his surprise, recalling that he never knew Cobain to be suicidal, but rather going through a tough time. Danny Goldberg, founder of Gold Mountain Records, shared his ongoing struggle with the rumors surrounding Cobain's death, underscoring the profound impact of the loss on those who he knew and admired him. Among those deeply affected by Cobain's passing was Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers. In his autobiography, he expressed a universal sense of loss felt by people across the globe, describing Cobain as both beloved and endearing, a figure who touched hearts despite his struggles. The Chili Peppers even paid tribute to their fallen comrade with the song Tearjerker on their One Hot Minute album, a poignant ode to the enduring legacy of Cobain. Greg Sage, a musical hero to Cobain, reflected on the artist's struggles with fame and success, sharing a revealing anecdote about Cobain's desire to record Lead Belly covers in secret. Sage mused on the morality that death brings to a beloved artist, while also acknowledging the immense pressures that fame had placed to Cobain. Kurt Cobain's passing remains a powerful reminder of the price of fame, the complexities of artistic brilliance, and the impact a single individual can have on the hearts and souls of millions. His memory continues to resonate, forever enshrined in the annals of music history, as fans and fellow musicians cherish his extraordinary talent and mourn the untimely end of a musical genius.